Mino Lion Media presents Business First.
Hi, all, and welcome to a new episode of Business First with Sonia Alleyne. I am your host, and I have two amazing women who I know very well. I'm really proud of the business that they've just started. And we're going to have to be a little creative on this show because it's something that you all should see. This is an audio podcast, but I'm going to ask both of them to describe the product that they have with them. So it'll encourage you to go to their website and see what their offering is. But without further ado, I'm going to invite Nancey Flowers Harris and Tracy Green to the screen. How are you?
We are good.
Good. And these two women have started and run a new company called Vontelle Eyewear. And it is, like I said, we're gonna ask these ladies to describe their product so that you will be inspired to go to their website and check it out. But it is a culturally inspired eyewear. And so tell us a little bit about why you felt the need to create such a company and what excites you about delivering it to the public.
So I lost a pair of glasses. And when I lost my glasses, I went to look for a new pair after being frustrated and looking for them for like 3 days because you know how expensive eyewear is. And when I went to look for a new pair, I just walked in and said, all the glasses look the same. They were kind of plain, and then they also didn't fit well, even though I loved my prior glasses, but they really weren't fitting the best. I had headaches after wearing them for a long time because the temple wasn't long enough and you put pressure on there's little points right here behind your ears. You don't realize you have them. I had a line all across my nose all the time. And I said, you know what? I'm just tired of glasses that just don't look good. They have no culture, and then they don't even fit well. And I call Nancey and say, Nancey, and I complain to her as I always do. And, basically before you know it, Nancey's booking a trip to Paris, and we're going to look at an eyewear expo, like a fashion week in Paris just for eyewear. And I'm excited to bring this to the world because I just realized that I was tired of wearing glasses that were ill-fitting, and I wanted to see more color and pattern and see our culture, ourselves in our eyewear. And after doing the research, you just realize for centuries, we've been wearing glasses that were not made with us in mind.
Wow. And so I want you to talk about the research and what you found, but I also want to say, I know you couldn't have called a better person because the serial entrepreneur that Nancey is, if she had a spark of creativity around the idea, she was going to run with you. So I didn't even know that you all went to Paris right after you dropped this idea on her. But Nancey, tell us a little bit about the research that you all did around eyewear.
When Tracy called me and told me that she lost her glasses, I told her that I had just lost my glasses as well. So it was funny because it was probably months within each other. I had lost mine probably maybe a month or two before she mentioned it to me. And mine were even newer than we probably bought them roughly around the same time for all we know. But $600-700 later, we were, combined money, we're out of like $1,500. So the research started when we said there was nothing that looked culturally different as far as paying homage to the Caribbean, Latin, and African diasporas. We wanted something that had patterns, textiles, and the fit was also something. And the first thing that we looked for, we were just typing in things like kente, glasses with kente, glasses with Ankara print, glasses with, and we found nothing. And it had to be maybe 2 weeks of me doing some real due diligence. And I like research. I will stop everything and do the necessary footwork to see if there's any competition out there before we start. And even if there's one or two companies that exist, that's not enough. That's going to really represent the culture. You're talking about there are over 10,000 eyewear manufacturers across the world. And to date, Tracy and I have found maybe 25 that are African, that are people of color, period. Not just African American, just people of color. So when we went to the expo, the first thing that we noticed is that it was about 2 to 3 football stadiums large. So think about Jacob Javits Center 3 times. We're walking through this and it's 99% men and 99% European. So that was the other thing. So that was research in itself. We already know that they're not making glasses focused on you and me, but we are the people who will buy the eyeglasses. African Americans, we looked at the spending habits, spend over $3 billion on eyewear annually. So with that being said, and knowing that we spend $1.7 trillion altogether, we knew that $3 billion is huge in just the eyewear industry. And we are the ones that tend to suffer the most when it comes to eyewear and, well, when it comes to, eyes and glaucoma, you're talking about diabetic retinopathy and all those things. So we know that there's a need, but we still wear the glasses because we need them. So the research was
name brand.
And people will wear them no matter what. We have seen people wear glasses, and you can't see this through of course, through your headset or whatever, however you're listening to us, but glasses that stop before your ears or stop right there at the temple. Like Tracy said, they press down and they're very uncomfortable. And we had a man that we met for a loan, and really great guy. And he said, I don't wear glasses because they give me a headache. Glasses are not giving him a headache. He's just not wearing the right size glasses. That's what's giving him a headache. He's wearing glasses that don't fit. So when you say that every time you put on your glasses and you feel that tension headache, it's because the temples are too short. Every time you wear your glasses and you have those dark lines in between your nose, the bridge between your eyes and your nose, that's because the bridge is too narrow. They're not wide enough. So we have made better fitting glasses, to Tracy's point, that complement diverse faces. We have wider bridges for your nose, longer temples for behind the ears, and larger lenses for high cheekbones that will fit comfortably on your face. So that's how we changed the game. We corrected the problem and created better fitting luxury eyewear.
And so this is one podcast that I wish that our audience could see. In the time that Nancey was describing their journey, Tracy tried on about 6 or 7 pairs. And so Tracy, but what's interesting is that Tracy's a beautiful woman. Every single pair looks good on you, but I feel it's also part of the design of what you've created, that it's not going to be difficult for people to find something that fits them and looks good for them.
Yeah. I mean, basically, that's what happened. I think when Nancey and I started, and literally, I've always loved fashion. As a teenager, I would, book scrap. I would go to all the magazines, Elle and Vogue, and everything, Teen, and just scrap and take pictures. I always loved fashion, and I thought I would have a career in fashion. But years later, I went into finance and changed my trajectory. But when it came to doing the glasses, we started drawing on pieces of paper. We live in Brooklyn, which is like the Mecca. And we started to get patterns and go pick up different cloths and material, right, from the stores. And then we started to say, well, we want this. We need glasses with real estate. We need to make sure the pattern can be seen here. We need bright colors, right? And as we started designing, we realized, well, we can make glasses that have full patterns on them. We can make glasses that have partial patterns. And then for the more conservative person, they don't have to have patterns, but they can still have some really high-end looks to them, right? So like these I just had on are the Cairo olive. They have a nice olive.
Go through them.
Yeah, okay. They have nice olive sheen, and they have a wood-like arm, right? So we wanted something that was plain because we know our fellas, right? Because we make glasses for women and for men. And we said, men might not want, or somebody might not want a pattern, but they still want that strong, beautiful look. So you have wood arms, and I'm all into wood colors. So these are wood-like, and basically while they're not 100% wood, because we don't want you to get splinters, right? So they look exactly like wood, and they feel almost like wood, but they have a plastic, like an acetate over them, so they won't scratch. And
it's 100% acetate.
Yeah, so it won't hurt your face or scratch your face.
Yeah.
Or anything like that.
Okay.
But so we make glasses with all different designs in mind. And I think as a new company, we were crazy to do that. Because when you're a new company, you come out with maybe 3 to 4, maybe 6 tops. Me and Nancey started with 37 pairs of glasses because we couldn't agree.
Wow.
We wanted all of them.
Well, I was going to say, Nancey, who's another beauty. Nancey, describe the eyeglasses that you're wearing.
So these glasses actually are made for a project that we did with a sorority, Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated. They are coming up on their centennial. And the glasses that I'm wearing are called the Essence glasses. And the essence signifies the royalty of the Sigma Gamma Rho ladies. So these are in particular happen to be, and anyone can purchase them, by the way, because what we did not do is we did not put the Sigma Gamma Rho crest or their shield on it. We did it to signify and represent their colors, but proceeds, a percentage of the proceeds goes to Sigma Gamma Rho scholarship for young women. So the reason that they wanted it to be made available to anyone who loves royal blue and gold, and it also has their pattern on it, which they love the yellow rose. So there's a yellow rose on the temple, which is very pretty, robust. And then on the inside of the glasses is a yellow, which highlights the outside of the frame, which is a royal deep blue. Wow. So we have 3 glasses that come in that set. So if you go to our website, Vontelle, Vontelle.com, Vontelle.com, and you go to the Divine Collection, you'll see that we have some glasses called Empenzi and also Aurora. Those also represent the Sigma Gamma Rho. It's distinguished for them, but again, anyone can purchase them. Yeah, and they're so beautiful. I've gotten the most compliments since I've been wearing these glasses over the past few days that we just got them, because they're only available for pre-order. But, Tracy and I, of course, we get the prototypes first, so we're able to wear them. And the compliments just are nonstop because they're rich. They're actually the colors of support Ukraine as well. So if you want to,
that's right.
it's to say, so we didn't do that intentionally, but it also signifies the colors of Ukraine. The color is just a little bit darker, but it's just as beautiful.
Yeah. And again, for the audience who can't see, they should go to the website, because I'm getting to see you all in these glasses, and you do look beautiful, and the styles are amazing. You've also done some really great work in terms of partnerships. So talk to our audience about how that has helped the brand, how that has helped your messaging, and even helped the philanthropic arm of your business.
So I would say definitely Nancey and I have a knack of being at the right place at the right time. I tell everyone this: if you want to start a business, definitely network. You have a network of people around you, but you need to follow up and call them, right? So Nancey and I, when we started this business, we called everybody we knew. And we said, hey, we started an eyewear business. Are you interested in working with us on this? Or do you have any idea? Can you refer us to someone? Right. So we made all those calls. We've partnered with a couple people now, but one of the most, dear to my heart is a partnership with WIN, which is called Women in Need. And one of my good girlfriends who I grew up with since 5th grade, she was the chief program officer there. So of course, by networking, I reached out to her, and she said, you know what, we have, they have at that time they had 11 shelters. Then now they have about 13 going on 14. They keep adding on shelters throughout New York City. But at the time, she said, we always get requests for glasses, but there's no one to give the homeless shelter residents glasses. And again, you could be homeless for any reason. It could be domestic violence. It could be you had a fire at your home. You lost a husband or spouse or someone, and your income changed. You have to leave. You live in a shelter temporarily until they find you a new place. So these are women with their children. These are men. And again, they still go to work. The kids still have to go to school, but they lose their glasses in this transition. And I wanted to partner with them, and because I knew that glasses is one of the things. And I've been wearing glasses since I was a teenager, preteen. So you need your glasses to see. You can't do work. You can't drive. You can't. So it's really a medical necessity, even though we treat it as a fashion. But without your glasses, you can't see. So we partnered with WIN, and we basically have done over 80 exams and probably provided over 60 pair of glasses already to women, children, and men. And we started in Brooklyn first, and we're working to get to all the shelters. And my goal is to continue making these beautiful glasses and be able to do this nationwide, right? There's homeless shelters in Chicago and DC and New York, everywhere. So the bigger and better we get, and the more sales we have, we'll be able to roll this out to homeless shelters and make sure people who need glasses have them.
Wow. And I think what's important, and you've touched on it a little bit, but can you talk a little bit about the importance of your company's involvement in eye health?
Yeah, well, for me, and like Tracy just said, it's near and dear to both of us. For me, it's a little bit different, and I never spoke about this before, but one of the things as a kid, I was always afraid of going blind, because I had a grand aunt when I was 5 years old, 6 years old. My father would bring me to her house and he'd have me help her out, right? She had glaucoma and she eventually went blind. Now, I don't know the details behind all of that with her going blind and everything, but I will say that it's very scary to see someone in that condition. And for us, we did our research. Like Tracy said, we know that eye health in the African American community, we're more likely to have cataracts, glaucoma, diabetic retinopathy more than any other group. And so that's why it's really important to us, because a lot of people don't have insurance and can't afford or don't even realize that there may be facilities that they can go to and just get their eyes taken care of. But by the time they do it, it's so late that they've already done a lot of damage, and you can't reverse that. Once you get to that stage with the diabetes, that comes because maybe your poor eating habits, and maybe that came because of your living situations and you being in a shelter or not having the right finances to be able to do that. So, to Tracy's point, we partnered with WIN. And then we also found partners that would help us, optometrists, to go out and do free eye exams. And we also were able to get a grant to pay for the prescriptions. So, like Tracy said, the right partnerships, having the capital, and thanks to Steve and Marjorie Harvey Foundation for providing that to us so that we could pay for those prescriptions. And it's going to be ongoing. We're hoping to continue that partnership moving forward. But it's really important because if you just look at any statistics, African Americans and people of color, Latinos, Latinx, we are more likely to have issues such as cataracts and retinopathy. And everyone, when you have those type of situations with your eyes, they are not able to wear contact lenses because the eyes are sensitive or whatever. So they have to wear glasses, which is the best alternative anyway. So why not look good in your glasses?
Mm-hmm. So I also know that in some of your partnerships or some of your contracts, you've had to have a certain level of certification. And I know offline, we've talked about your discovery of all the different types of certification. I think that that many people in business don't recognize what can be required when they're getting ready to enter into a business agreement with another organization. So talk to us a little bit about that process as well.
When you apply for grants, a lot of grantors want you to be certified, right? A woman-owned business, a minority woman-owned business, they want you to have proof that you are 50% owner of the business. They want all these things, right? So there's grants that you apply for, and then there's contracts that you get with like big suppliers. Like if you want to get into the Targets, the Walmarts, the Costco's kind of things, they also have processes. So Nancey embarked on that part. I was doing grants at the beginning, and then Nancey was doing all our certificates. And I think the one certificate she did, I think she pulled her hair out, but it grew back. So she's good.
It was very daunting. And it took me, I won't even exaggerate. This is the NSMDC, National Society of Minorities, National Supplier, right? Diversity Council. It was very daunting. It literally took 3 weeks to complete. And that was because in between they suggest that you watch the video or that you participate in one of the classes. So I did. I participated because I don't like having to do things multiple times, because since it's only Tracy and I, we're stretched thin. So we need to get things right the first time, or second at best, but we can't afford to say, let's do this over and over. They asked for everything under the sun. I'm talking about, thank God we are who we are, and we have all of our information and all of our ducks in a row. We had every single piece of paper that they needed, but gathering it was a whole different story because the things were in different places. We hadn't filed our company taxes yet, so we had to use our personal taxes. You know, they wanted Tracy's father's birth certificate to show that she was Latin, you know, I mean, things like that. Because if you put on the application that you are Indian or that you are Latin, whatever it is that you put, they want proof of that, down to the point where they wanted a genetics testing if you're Indian. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is a lot of information that they want, but they get that minuscule. It's that detailed. And I'm talking about the papers that when we were done, I think we scanned about 60 something pages of the document when we were complete. And then we had to get it notarized. And then you have to send it in. When we got the call from the woman letting us know that the paperwork was done, we took a sigh of relief because she said out of her 20 something years, this was the first call that all she needed to do was confirm the information was correct.
She said she never seen the application this good in her life. But again, that's a testament to me and Nancey in terms of our careers before this. We say over and over again, we wouldn't be as successful as fast as we were if we weren't in the jobs that we had before. I used to do RFPs and grants. I knew how to put everything in, how to do everything. So, and Nancey, you know, ran sales departments and stuff. So she knew how to answer the questions, give them what they wanted. So I think, you know, that is just, you know, sometimes you want to do things a certain way, but you realize that every experience that you've had leads you to your success and your later experiences. So, you know, had I not had those jobs in finance or whatever, we wouldn't be as successful as we are today. Thank God for our experience we had before.
Yeah. And to Tracy's point too, to your point, actually, Sonia, you know, I'm a serial entrepreneur. So I had to do a lot of the stuff that I'm doing now for the business back then. You know, I did all of those things. I wasn't as polished, but I know that with this, I have to put my best foot forward in every single thing that we do. Another great partnership, and I'll let Tracy talk about this one, is our Nickelodeon partnership. And then I'll talk about Famous Amos. So Tracy, you talk about that, and then I'll jump in about the Famous Amos.
So I'm in the office right now, and I'm looking at the board because we have a couple partnerships, right? And we've been in the right place at the right time. So Nickelodeon is one of the places that we were at a meeting. We were at the right place at the right time. Somebody went to our website and saw all the funky patterns. And right now, as you can see, I'm wearing one of our Ankara prints, but it's stretched out. So you can see like a yellow and blue polka dot with a pink arm on the side. You really want to be funky when you wear these. And they love them. And they said, can you do children's glasses? So we are the first Black woman-owned and operated company to get a licensing deal with Nickelodeon, Viacom, CBS. And it's a 3-year deal, which is amazing. And, you know, we're getting slow going, but this year we will come out with SpongeBob, Rugrats, and Baby Shark. And then next year we're going to do Lele, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and Paw Patrol. So we are slowly getting there, but the goal is to kind of build momentum and then keep going. We also have a partnership with another group of people that we just met. And this woman, she's writing a book for her daughter, and she has these magic glasses, and we're going to be working with her to do one pair of glasses for this beautiful little girl, to go with her book series. So again, that's another partnership that we were able to get involved in. And luckily we also joined a couple other websites, the 15% Pledge, the Nile List, Fair. There's a couple of them that, you know, reached out to us and said, your eyewear is great. We can also sell on our website for you. So we've been lucky to, you know, this journey has been amazing. And again, me and Nancey, we wanted to be just like Warby Parker. We're like, only people could buy from us. We're not going to sell glasses to anyone else. It's just us. And then when we realized, wow, to do it like Warby Parker, it's really tough. We had to sell to optical shops. So we partnered with a lot of eye doctors. And Nancey has been instrumental in that. So she'll give you more detail, but partnering with them has been helpful because they buy our glasses to sell to their customers. So now our model has changed, of course. And I tell entrepreneurs, you're going to have to adjust, because, you know, you have a plan, you have an idea, but then when you really start to work and within the world and the global economy, it's different. So you just have to be ready to say, okay, this is how we're going to do it, but we can change to do this so we can keep going.
Yeah. So we have these great partnerships, and we're creating more partnerships than money's coming in. There's a process. So we got the Nickelodeon, and we realized that that is really big. And Tracy has to remind me all the time, that's really big, right? Because they have the biggest properties and they have the largest intellectual and most recognizable properties that exist for children. And to be able to do these glasses and them helping us to promote it, we're talking about millions of people seeing it and thousands of people wanting to buy it and us not having the money and revenue to do it. And we went to several banks. We were experiencing difficulty receiving funding from banks to finance the children's line. So like Tracy said, we've been applying for grants. And the first grant that we got through Danny Garcia, thank you, Danny Garcia. We appreciate you. We got that grant, and that was last year. So that money left. We use that money to help us buy the virtual try-on program. So every time we get a grant, it's to actually help us move and do something different that we realize that our customer needs to make a better customer experience. This time, we realize we really need a big chunk of money to help us with the children's eyewear. So I applied to the famous Amos Ingredients to Success grant, and 2,700 and something people, almost 2,800 people applied for this grant. And one day I'm opening my email and I see that I'm scrolling, and it didn't say, because usually it says, unfortunately, you didn't win this grant, you can reapply. But this particular one, it just said, so thank you for applying. But it never, as I'm reading it, it never said you didn't win. So I'm scrolling and it says, and so these are our top 10 finalists. And I scroll and I scroll and I scroll to the last one. And I'm like, oh, shoot, that's us. We made it. We made it. I called Tracy and I said, I don't know what this means, but we made the top 10. We are 10 out of, 2,800 people. And so now they send the documentation to us saying they want to do a background check. And I was like, man, did I do anything as a kid that I need to be worried about? Tracy, we don't have any issues, do we, Tracy? Like, oh my gosh. But no, all jokes aside, I was like, thank God I've lived a clean life, right? And because they're doing a background check, and it's a personal background check. So I go through that process and I'm freaking out because there's a piece on there that I can't seem to answer and it won't go through. And I'm like, what's going on? But we finally get it. And I get an email saying, so this is now how I say we're about to get this grant. It said, be camera ready. And I said, Tracy, we won, because we don't have to be camera ready to lose. Right? If you're telling me to be camera ready, we must be winners. But you never know. You never know which way it's going to turn. But in my head, I said,
we had a couple calls where we met with grantors who we didn't win, but they wanted to know more information about us. So I said, Nancey,
right,
count our ducks, because remember that last grant? They met with us and we still didn't win. So
right,
we realized, like, all right, maybe we won't win. I don't know.
Right. But they said, be camera ready, put on your lipstick. So I said, okay, I'm going to put on so Tracy put on a red lipstick. I put on my bronze lipstick, and we got on the call that morning and they asked us a few questions and they said, do you want some good news today? And it was February 22nd, 2022. 22222. It was like a bunch of twos going on there, right? And I said, yes, of course. And Tracy and I are on the call and we are super excited. And at that point, and I was in Florida and Tracy was in New York because I was down there making some sales calls. And they said, you guys have won $50,000.
Wow.
We are the first to win the grant for the famous Amos Ingredients to Success grant for $50,000. Now, there were 3 of us that did win. It's $150,000 was the total, but 3 people won. And I want to congratulate the other winners as well. Congratulations to you guys, because I know that you've worked extremely hard to get to that point. It was not an easy application, but Tracy and I, Vontelle, is proud. We are proud recipients, and this is going to help us produce and manufacture these glasses for Nickelodeon. So wow. This dream you have made come true for us and is one of the best moments of our lives, because one of the things is everything that we do is us. There's no back office. There's no divisions, no departments. The division is Tracy. The department is Nancey. That's it.
I call it, we have a mail unit. Hold on. I'm going to get into the mail unit. Hold on. I'm going to call you back, customer service. Hold on. You're calling about your bill. Let me get back to you. I'm going to have the billing department call you. It's all me. But I do call them by the departments. So at the end, it's different people. And that's what happens when you have a small business, when it's you, because you have to do all the parts until you get to that next level, right? And again, it's hard for Black women to get loans. So we went to get loans. And of course, they kept saying to us, well, you haven't been in business long enough. I said, well, if we were in business long enough, we wouldn't need the loan. But, they still keep saying this. Well, we need to see revenue. But if I had the revenue, I wouldn't need the loan. Right. So they kept saying, so I'm like, how do people get loans? But, so luckily we joined this Chase program for new businesses, and we met this wonderful woman, Vanessa Blanco, and she's the one who kind of helped us through the way to get a line of credit, to get a credit card. She's the one who hooked us up with the NSNBC to get this certification. We went through her. So, you need someone to guide you. And again, we were like, can you just give us money? Can you work for Chase? And she was like, no, it doesn't work that way. So, and I sat on Goldman Sachs, the millionaire thing that they had. I mean, any kind of, any grant, any company, Undivided, Hello Alice, I fund women, which is amazing. They've done a lot of stuff for us. We crowdfunded with them. I've been a part of every single thing. And it's really hard because, like I said, me and Nancey bootstrapped the company ourselves with our savings. And then we said, okay, now we should be making revenue. So we're making revenue, but it's drips and drabs, right? And then as you take on new projects, you got to pay for that up front. So even with the purchase orders, like if I get an order tomorrow, we still have to pay for the glasses up front, right? So it becomes, now you know why it's so daunting for people to do things on their own. You really have to, just keep pushing yourself, keep applying. I mean, that's not the first time Nancey won something. She won a pitch contest. I actually was out for my birthday. My husband took me out because it was my birthday. We went to see Alvin Ailey, and I said, Nancey, I got to get off the phone because the show is about to start. And I was like, she's going to pitch, I hope she wins, but if she doesn't, it's okay. Right. Because we've done so many. She wins.
Fearless Fund, another great one to join. So Tracy and I, we don't play. We join everything. Fearless Fund, which is another great one. It's a year-long program, and twice a month they have guest speakers that come on. The first time they come on, they give their spiel about how they started their business, whether they bootstrap, whether they joined accelerators, how they scale the business, everything under the sun. And then the second time they come on, they do a Q&A. So Fearless Fund, if you're a woman-owned business, definitely join it. I fund women. Please join the Chase program as well. Ernst & Young. We are now in the accelerated program for Ernst & Young. Her sweet spot. There are so many great programs out there that can help you grow and scale and get the awareness that you need, that you really dearly need to grow your business. So these are all the different avenues that Tracy and I go through. But I won that pitch contest, and Tracy and my husband gave me a nickname, which I will not say on this podcast because it's a clean podcast, but I am a pitch. So now Tracy's gearing me up to pitch for this other contest that's coming up for $200K. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is like national. This is not just amongst a small group of women. This is like a national playground here where you get on stage and you're pitching for $200K. But you know what? This is my business. And if I used to pitch for people, other companies that were not invested in me, then I'm in the wrong business right now. So I have to gear myself up to do it. But when the opportunity comes, if we get selected, I'm going to be that pitch.
We got it. Well, I want to say, number one, thank you for sharing all of these references, because that's really important for the audience. And I know that will be helpful. The other thing is, and Tracy, you mentioned that your backgrounds have really served you. they've both been a little modest. Tracy has been a CFO for a couple of major organizations, and Nancey has worked in sales for major brands and in media for major brands. So it's been a perfect marriage in terms of skills and skill sets. What do you think has been the biggest lesson you've learned about partnership?
I say you have to respect the other person. And I ideally, of course, respect Nancey. We've gone to college together. I met her the first day at Morgan State University in
HBCU.
But 19 something. I don't know what's wrong with your podcast, but we met a while ago, like 2000 something. Because we're only 28. But
28.
Yes, we're only 28. But you respect the other person in your partnership because you each bring different opinions, expertise to the table. So, I'll bring the finance expertise and Nancey will bring the sales expertise. I might forget something or say to her, what is this for? She's like, it's sales. Let me do my thing. I'm like, all right, whatever you say. And I don't even argue with her. I let her go with it, right? Because that's her expertise. I'm doing the taxes. I'm going crazy. I'm pulling my hair out. She's like, I won't bother you. I know you're doing finance. Let it go. So the partnership, you respect each other's views. You work together, and then you let that person lead. When, Nancey's leading sometimes I'm leading. Sometimes we're like, hey, we bounce back off each other. But it's important. It actually makes it easier. I think this would be really hard if it was me by myself. And again, you have a great idea, but sometimes you just need someone to push you and kick you, right? And as you know, Nancey, the entrepreneur, she kicked me and she pushed me all the way to Paris. But once we got started, we just kept going. And I tell you, we launched in COVID, which is crazy. But the pandemic actually was like a godsend, right? Everybody was on their computers. Everything is virtual now. And now because you're on the computer so much, your eyes are even more messed up. So now everybody's buying glasses. So it worked for us, right? And then because of the pandemic, and we started with fabrics, we made masks to match. So now if you want to wear your glasses, you have a mask that matched the glasses. It was like the best selling point. And, we hashtag full face fashion. So I think partnerships are important. Working with someone you trust is important, and being able to work together on a project like this is just amazing.
So tell us where we can follow you, shop for glasses, send you a check if we're so inspired to help you along. But let us know how we can follow you.
Yeah, so definitely follow us. Well, you can follow us on Facebook under Vontelle, Vontelle. You'll find us on Instagram. You'll find us under Vontelle Eyewear. On LinkedIn, you'll find us on Vontelle. And on Twitter, you'll find us on Vontelle Eyewear. So we're always under our name, no matter what. And then Vontelle.com is our website. You can find us there. We have beautiful fashions. And again, you guys can't see the beautiful prints that we have. We have kente prints. We have Ankara prints. We have tortoiseshell too for individuals who don't want to go too far out. Tracy's wearing our pink archetypes, Aztec archetype glasses. They're really beautiful, and they have a mirror pink lens, and they have gold trim on them. And then here is our Star Giza glasses that have a wood trim on the temple, which is the arm. It's a beautiful print there as well. And the glasses are handcrafted. They are handmade. We wanted to make sure that we use the best of the best when it came to the materials. We have 3-barrel hinges. We have some spring hinges because some glasses are more lightweight. And it makes the glasses just a little bit more flexible, and the temples can go in and out a little bit more. Tracy's there wearing our Akasha aviators, which is another tortoiseshell and very popular for our men. They're very beautiful. There she's wearing our Sahara Addicts glasses, which are also really nice. It has a mud cloth print. And at the bottom, the trim of it is actually clear. It's transparent, which is really, really nice. That seems to be the look nowadays. Those are our Keys to Kenya blue. It has the blue denim at the top, and it has a really nice print on the temple and half on the bottom. So it's really, really nice. And all of our descriptions are on the glasses. Yes, Marcus Samuelson wore those glasses on a program that he did in August of 2020. 21, I believe it was, Tracy and I were driving and someone called and said, I think Marcus Samuelson's wearing your glasses. You got to check it out. And they sent us a screenshot and we were like, those are our glasses. And Tracy was the one who got the call from his stylist. And Tracy, you can tell us that story.
Yeah, I mean, so we, now we're getting called from stylists, which is like amazing. And we're so humble and honored that people are calling us. And again, you have to find the right person. And Marcus Samuelson is the owner of Red Rooster Restaurants, and he wears a lot of pattern. I mean, he wears all of them together at the same time. I mean, he wears the pattern. So our company fit him perfectly, right? So again, this is a new concept, right? There's no African patterns in glasses ever. We're the first ones to create that, right? So you want someone like him. And when his stylist called and we sent him the glasses and he did this whole show, Harlem Eat Up with Bevy Smith, and he's wearing the glasses on TV, like we freaked out. So it was like the best thing. And then we got called from another stylist and Queen Latifah on her show.
I was going to say, did Queen Latifah? Yeah.
We got Queen Latifah. So that was like, I think I was on the couch watching the show and I saw it and I screamed and I jumped up, was like, oh my God, Queen Latifah is wearing the glasses. So, we're getting some celebrities, which is great. We sent the glasses to Gabrielle Union's team for some show she was working on. We haven't seen them yet, but you never know. It's coming.
No, the calls are coming. We've gotten a few more since then. So it's a surprise when they actually wear, because stylists call for a lot of different glasses, a lot of different pieces, and they don't always make it to the program. But we heard from the stylist that Queen Latifah really liked her glasses, her Moroccan Wayfarer Burgundy, and that she got a pair for the show, and she got a pair with her prescription that she's wearing regularly. So we are really flattered that she likes it so much that she wanted them to wear on her day-to-day. That's very, very flattering.
Wow. And that's because we make the glasses for diverse faces. I can imagine, maybe for years, of course, she's got money. She could buy any pair of glasses she wants, but did they fit her perfectly? These are the ones that she likes. So were they big enough for her cheekbones, for her face, right? And again, we had those problems. So our glasses are made for, everyone, right? And originally we were making it for African Americans and Hispanics, but then I have a Japanese friend who tells me I can't find glasses that fit my face. East Indian who can't find glasses that fit their face. Jewish, from everywhere. I mean, if you have a diverse face and your nose is a little bit bigger or your cheekbones are a little bit bigger or your head is a little bit, it's just hard to find glasses that fit. And again, you can't all wear contacts. So we are making glasses with that in mind, and they're beautiful for everybody.
Well, we are so excited for you. I personally am very proud of you too. Look forward to you cashing in on that $3 billion that African Americans spend in eyewear, and you are on your way. So thank you so much for coming and sharing your story and sharing resources and giving inspiration for anyone who is starting a business or feeling stuck in their business. Thank you both.
No problem. Our pleasure.
Righty. Well, visit Vontelle. Is it VontelleEyewear.com or is it Vontelle.com?
Vontelle.com.
All right. So you all visit Vontelle.com, follow them on Instagram, on LinkedIn, and where else are you?
Twitter, Pinterest, and Instagram.
And we have a YouTube channel now.
All right. Well, we wish you much success, and we look forward to hearing about it and inviting you back to see where you are in the future.
Thank you so much. Please go on and follow us.
Thank you. And to everyone listening, thank you for tuning in. And we'll be back again next week with another great guest. Take care.
The Business First podcast is hosted and produced by Sonia Alleyne. Associate producer, Ariel Mancebo. Executive producer, Ken Johnson. Find the Business First podcast on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, or wherever you get your podcasts. And on social at business_first_podcast on IG. The Business First podcast is a Mean Old Line Media production.